I'm sick. Suicide Squad is a crap game. Just look at how ugly it is. Oh yeah, we're not wasting time with intros today, boys. Firstly, graphics do not make a game. I can have just as much fun playing Midnight Club 3 on the PSP, which sometimes feels like rubbing sandpaper against my eyes after the 30-minute mark. Oh. Yes, the lighting in Suicide Squad is great, I'll give you that. Facial animations, best I've seen in any game. You know, comparable almost to Detroit Become Human, which I think is just top tier in terms of friggin' facial animation in video games. It's also obvious looking in Suicide Squad that they've spent a great deal of care in building up the main city of Metropolis. Like it's definitely one of the most unique open worlds I've ever seen, at least visually anyways. God, these hiccups are gonna kill me. But gameplay is ultimately what makes the game. Is the game fun to play? Does it have a very fun video game loop?
New intel. Melee enemies with kinetic shields to open them up. Got it?
In my opinion, running around shooting things constantly is just not fun. It's not fun gameplay-wise, it's not fun narratively, and narratively I'm gonna get to the point. It's just... oh, God, what a fumble. There's nothing fun about shooting nameless purple enemies constantly. Like, surely this is bound to get tired after like the 5-hour mark. Who thinks this is fun?
Lawson's trigger fingers. For now. I'll have use for them later.
Like a bullet!
Who is this game made for? In my opinion, this game should have been done in a horror style. It should have been done in a way that doesn't nerf the Justice League, but keeps the Justice League just as dangerous and just as formidable as they should be. This could have made for a much more interesting and much more realistic approach to how the Suicide Squad could have completed objectives geared towards taking down each member of the Justice League. It also probably would have created more interesting dynamics for things like cameos from different DC characters as well. For example, the Suicide Squad in dealing with the Flash, instead of shooting him to death, which is just creatively bankrupt.
And so the Flash has expired.
They could have created some sort of an anti-Speed Force weapon and used the help of the Reverse Flash by breaking him out of prison. As much as I criticize God of War Ragnarok, narratively speaking, you definitely see the reverence and respect that they had for the character of Heimdall.
Slow down!
And treating his character and his powers of foresight with so much reverence and so much respect that Kratos had to go out of his way to create a specific weapon to deal with him. Now let's see how the Flash's boss fight was handled in this game.
Super speed meets regular bullets.
I would also be remiss if I didn't mention this moment in the game as well. I don't know much about Green Lantern lore, but I swear to God that in the actual comic books, once the Green Lantern bearer dies, the ring shoots off into space or something. I may be wrong.
When a Green Lantern, or any lantern other than black, dies, their ring seeks out the nearest person who meets the criteria to replace them. For a Green Lantern, the ring looks for someone who is honest and able to overcome fear.
It was written like a bad fan fiction, and it would be forgivable in a fan fiction because usually fan fiction writers are first-time writers, amateurs, or don't have as much experience. But considering what Rocksteady has done with the Batman Arkham trilogy, this sort of writing is just unforgivable to me. Like, what were you thinking? Writing things to the point where not only does it just disrespect your mainstay superheroes, it also outright just completely rewrites and ignores the source material. The fact that apparently this is canon. How? Other narrative annoyances that I had was just, it felt like the Suicide Squad was off. I don't know how to explain it, but just, I'll show you bits of dialogue and I want you to tell me if there's anything that you're noticing that's missing. Some of the comedic elements that they try and go for in Suicide Squad feel like they fall off. Like, you can tell that there was a joke that was meant to be there. But then sometimes they go for these awkward long pauses and long silences, which sometimes just make the characters feel like they got fetal alcohol syndrome. So
Wait, at least buy me dinner first.
cutscenes are way too long. Way too long. In fact, they're so long that I'm not gonna dilute the quality of this video by putting them in to make a point.
Gather up, squad. Luther made us glow sticks.
Gold kryptonite? Really? Gold kryptonite.
I call this new metamaterial gold kryptonite.
Gold kryptonite. Ugh, so, what's the word like tacky but for rich people?
Douche.
God, what are we doing?
Stop! What the hell is going on here? Where are we? How are you alive? What happened to Metropolis?
Is it a parallel universe?
Yes, this is a parallel universe. To you, it would be an Earth 2.
Yep, more multiverse nonsense. I won't spend too much talking about the multiverse. The multiverse is being used like an eraser. But then the thing is that the more that you use an eraser, you know when you make a mistake on pencil and then you use an eraser. Ban it! No more. Marvel did it first, it was cool. Now that trend just needs to die. It just needs to die. I'm tired of them injecting the multiverse into everything. Also, who the fuck is this guy? And why the hell is he in this game?
Holy hockey sticks! It worked! I fixed it! I am a genius! Hold the F-wording door! Is that the inner sanctum? Ma'am, if you gave me 5 minutes, you'd have the world's authority on microtech and the Justice League at your service.
I want you to take a look at this and tell me exactly what you see. Exactly, you don't see anything because everything is on the fucking screen. It's ridiculous. This game got delayed by a year? I refuse to believe it. I refuse to believe this game has gone delayed by a year. What did it look like a year ago? No more than a decade ago. Games were made with 10% of the budget compared to how much games cost to make now. Still gave birth to some of the greatest games of all time.
It took between $5 to $10 million to develop a PS2 game. PS5 blockbuster Horizon Forbidden West cost $212 million to develop over a 5-year period.
In this game, what happened to the millions of dollars and years of effort put into it? I swear to God, sometimes this really convinces me that the video game industry is probably some big money laundering scheme. Where'd the money go? Now, for all those who pre-ordered this game, you need to have your debit card confiscated. You should be banned from ever buying anything ever again. Every time you do your grocery shopping, you should be legally required to have a caretaker with you at all times. Your spending habits are encouraging companies like EA, companies like Ubisoft, and now Rocksteady to treat the consumer like this. We only get products like these because we allow them to get away with this. Your spending habits are encouraging them to keep on churning out mediocre shit like this, year in and year out. And even though it may seem like I'm hating on the Suicide Squad, just out of pure want, you know, my previous video was talking about how modern games suck compared to older games, etc. The reason I bought a PS5 in the first place was actually to play 2 games, 2 console exclusives, God of War Ragnarok and the Suicide Squad. And unfortunately, both of them have greatly disappointed me. Because honestly, apart from those 2 games, there's not many PS5 exclusives. I mean, if you have a PS4 right now and you're watching, there's no point in upgrading.
Currently, there are only 7 PS5 exclusives that you can dive into.
My original plan was to hate play this game, but I decided not to do that because then it would just put money in their pockets. There's no way that I'm gonna buy this game in any way, shape, or form. I don't care how discounted it becomes. I don't care if it ends up on Game Pass. I don't care if it ends up on PS Plus. I refuse to support such mediocre garbage. The video game industry needs to understand now that we will not put up with this shit. And honestly, I am super proud with the fact that this game is fucking crashing and burning. I feel sorry for the hard-working developers and the hard-working coders and all the workers over at Rocksteady who have worked so hard on this game and have tried their genuine best. Those aren't the people I'm criticizing. I'm not familiar with the full story, but apparently Rocksteady wanted to make a Superman game. But some executive decisions were made in favor of profit, which ultimately resulted in them favoring this live service slop that they've served us up. And to those corporate bigwigs or executives who made this decision to make the Suicide Squad into a live game, I am glad that they're crashing and burning. Good. That's what you get for trying to exploit your consumers. Yeah, so there you go. Yeah, I know I missed last week, by the way, as well. Don't remind me. But I am going to be working on making a video at least once a week. I'm going to try hit Thursday. If not Thursday, then definitely Friday. So stay tuned. I'm going to be a lot more consistent. Alright, if you disagree with my opinion,